And let's have another look at that goal, because there's so many talking points to it. From a Manchester United point of view, as you've pointed out, Michael, very frustrating. 13 minutes into the brand new season, such a simple way to concede what has turned out to be the winning goal.
Yeah, I think, like you say, it's just so simple. I mean, Arsenal have not had to do a great deal. Yeah, there's a little bit of pressure on him, he's off backing in. The worrying for me is that Saliba moves the goalkeeper. You know, that's his zone. He's got to boss that 3-4 yards out, really, and he's got to be moving Saliba, really, and he gets moved, and then he's off balance. He's in a weak position. He can't get any contact on it. It's just so simple and straightforward, really, and a kind of deflating one to concede so early on.
For me, he ends up having the battle with Saliba too late. The ball's already on flight, and he's trying to battle now. That's when a keeper, you've got to do your work early, have the battle early doors, make sure you're dominant, and then when the ball's coming in the air, you've got to be in a position then to go and make an intent and go and punch it or whatever. Look, he's too late. He's got to step away then. The ball's already in flight. Now, look, he's on his own. He's trying to fight him now, and that ball's delivered.
I'd like to see him bouncing on his toes. If you look at his feet, he's almost flattened. His body is kind of dead, you know. If you're on your toes, your body's primed and it's ready to spring. And he's a bit kind of passive, really.
He's got to do as well, Mike. He's got to be trying to get himself around Saliba so as he can get to the ball first. He's got his hands.
Got to be active, haven't you?
Yeah, you've got to be hands. So he's waiting, and then he's trying to punch it with the wrong hand.
If anyone goes in that 6-yard box, a keeper, the keepers I've played with, back in the day, there was things that were happening because of VAR they wouldn't do now. There's a few keepers I played with would stamp on their toes and things like that. Yeah. Can't do it nowadays. But that is your area. You've got to dominate. Domain. That's your domain. That's your area. Look, there's no way he's getting bossed completely, Ian. But he's having the battle, the physical battle, as the ball's coming in. And he's got to step away so that he gets a little bit of a run-up, a two-step, and then he can punch that ball. But he's not. He's battling. He's having a fight. And the rest,
kind of gets surprised by it, probably.
Yeah.
He should be looking for it, knowing it's coming, and actually him being the one that's the proactive one, and, like you said, being elusive so he can come and get it. But he looks like he's surprised by the contact, and then he's fighting a losing battle after that.
The big problem you've got now, you've left Onana out. We've seen Onana make so many mistakes. The manager already this game has got a goalkeeping problem after one game, because people are seeing that now. The defence are knowing that he hasn't dealt with it. The keeper himself has got to do what I call re-editing in his mind in some sort of way, that the next game that he's gonna learn from that and be better. But you've got a weakness already, as well as United. Well, as well as I think they deserved at least a draw out the game, and there were some really good things, but they've got a really major problem already after one match.
Yeah, well, Arsenal have done their homework clearly, because he had an issue in the League Cup tie at Tottenham last season in a very similar situation, and they've said let's test him early on.
I think if Onana was in goal, they'd do the same, because you know the delivery from Arsenal is very good. There's a lot of bodies around. I even think that William Saliba, where I remember there was a time last season, the season before, Ben White would be really amongst the goalkeeper to the point where you're thinking, Ben, get away from him a bit. But I think that William Saliba is really passive. And the goalkeeper, I think, to the point where the goalkeeper can move him, like you're saying, Mike, so as he could get to the ball. So I just think that the ball's a great ball in. I think the goalkeeper's got himself in all sorts of problems. And for a start, he gets himself in a position where he can't even punch it with his strong hand. But it was a good ball in. It was a great ball in.
Yeah. And then did we see David Raya in a similar situation almost show Bayern there what he should be doing?
Well, again, you can look at the situation. You know, you can see they're going to put the ball into an area where, look, there's players around him, but watch what he does. He gets himself into a situation. Watch him now. Watch, bang, where he's on his, like you're saying, Mike, he's on his toe. Watch him there. Look, bang, on his toes, off his feet, seeing the ball, punching it away with his strong hand.
Yeah, I think when you go to the early shot there and you see him bouncing, your body language for me tells me what's going on in your head. You know, if you're dead and your body's dead and you're a bit flat and you're almost like switched off. He was bouncing. He was almost looking forward. Like we said at the start a little bit about embracing the challenge. Yeah. You've got to embrace centre half. You're defending your box, goalkeeper. You've got to think, this is me. I'm having a bit of this. This is me, and embrace that. And don't be a little bit waiting to see what's going to happen. You've got to go make it happen. I just thought that, but the body language between the two almost took on the challenge, and one clears it, one doesn't, and that, in the end, that's the game that we're sat here talking about.
Yeah, and that's the fine margin sometimes in these games.
Oh, very much so, and that's why Arsenal have been brilliant from set plays last season and this start off this season. The difference is when you score from set plays, however, it's from corners when they come from the back post, or this time bodies in the 6-yard box. You get a belief about yourself. You go into that box believing you're going to score. All them centre backs going up, I'm going to be the one scoring. The strikers, obviously, they've worked at different situations, different scenarios, using the body, putting the goalie under pressure. There's a little run, the 2 little runs that we didn't talk about on the edge of the box. There's a little plan going there where he could have pulled it back, and I think Odegaard was ready to shoot. So that's another little plan that they got. But they have this belief. They say, now we're going to score again. And at the end of the day, that has been the difference between the 3 points. Because United, you can't tell me United weren't a better team on the day. They probably created a little bit more than Arsenal did, but that was the vital part of the game. And now that goalkeeper really has got to really do some work on himself, as well as the coaches and the goalkeeping coach, because that becomes a big problem, a massive wall that can build up if he doesn't do a lot of work mentally on that.
Yeah. Well, how important is that? They spent over 200 million at one end of the pitch to still have this issue that you're all talking about at the other.
It's fine margins for a goalkeeper in that respect, you know. And but like Glenn said, that it quickly spreads both ways. You know, that commanding presence, belief. Yeah, this is us, we're strong, to the other way of a little bit of unsure, who's going to come, shall I head it, is he keep coming, are we a little bit, don't give a corner away, oh, it's a long throw. All of a sudden it can spiral both ways, you know. Yeah. It's definitely something that has caused them an issue today, it's caused them an issue over a period of time now, and you need that foundation and that backbone to then spread through the back 4 or the back 5.
Which you experienced with Edwin van der Sar, didn't you, back in the day in that team. And
that composure and that belief that the goalkeeper gives you is, as I said, it spreads, and it spreads quickly, and it can go in both directions pretty quickly. You obviously want the positive nature, and to be fair to Arsenal, they got that today.
I think that the goalkeeping problem from De Gea all the way to where we are now, obviously we've seen what's happened with Andre Onana, seen Bayern there today, nowhere near it. Man United, with the amount of money like you just mentioned, and rightly as well, in the monies that they've spent, they need more goals. I think, like I said, they scored goals last season, what was relegation form. If it weren't for Bruno, I don't know where they would have been. So they've addressed that, and I think that Cunha and Mbeumo were very good today. But what's the point if your goalkeepers are going to be that bad? They need to. I don't know what's happening with Donnarumma. He weren't playing the other day. I don't know if he's coming here. I don't know if he's going. Don't know where he's going. But they really do need to sort that goalkeeping situation out, because they've lost the game on that. It's it's a hard one to take, to lose it on that. Because I thought the players, especially people like De Ligt, I thought he played very well today. Cunha played well. Even Mbeumo for his debut. They played very, very well. They deserve to lose a game like that on a goalkeeper's poor technique. It's a terrible way to lose a game.
Do you think, we've no idea where the budget's up to, and they've obviously got to get players out, but that might have enforced the need before August the 31st to get somebody in, goalkeeper-wise?
I think they need a keeper. They do. And I think that will enhance that. I think the manager will sit down with his staff and think about that. They've got to shift some people out, I would imagine. But, you know, if you're going to have your spine of a team, everyone talks about having your spine and being a successful team. The great teams have always had that. You start with a goalkeeper. And if you've got a problem there after one match, you know, Onana comes back in, everyone's going to be like, well, you know, there's mistakes last year. So he's got a real problem already.
Well, let's talk live to the man who benefited from that error. Following in, the match winner, Ricardo Calafiori, is waiting to speak to us at Old Trafford. Ricardo, great to see you. Well done. How good does that feel? Winning goal, first day of the season away at Old Trafford.
Hi guys, everybody. Yeah, obviously it was a great feeling. I couldn't start better than this. Obviously it was a tough game, but we managed to get the 3 points at the end.
And you and your Premier League goals, I mean, we saw you score at the Etihad. You now scored the winner at Old Trafford and that winner at Wolves. They're all big, important ones.
Yeah, I mean, when you score and you get the 3 points because of your goal, is even more important, as you said. And yeah, that's a good start. We just have to keep going like that.
Is that the importance here of you following in, always expecting an error?
I don't know. Let's see. Let's see game by game as well.
Is that something you'd highlighted, though? I mean, we know you're so strong from set pieces and the amount of goals you score from that area.
Yeah, I mean, I was speaking before about this. We just working every day, every week. if possible, we have to improve every season because the other teams, they study us and they know how to defend. So we just have to improve even more.
Ricardo, what did the manager say at half-time in how we were playing in the first half? Was he upset? Was he angry? What was he like in the dressing room?
Yeah, I wouldn't say upset, but obviously it wasn't our best game, I guess. And as well, it's not easy to play at Old Trafford. In the first minutes, they were so aggressive. But for sure, we could have done better, I think, in the manner regain, the second balls. But, at the end, if you want to win the league or if you want to do something important, you cannot leave these points behind, even though you played not your best game,
Yes.
Yeah, that's the positive, isn't it? When you're not at your very best, to still keep a clean sheet and win at Manchester United.
Yeah, exactly.
And does that give you something to build on now moving forward, having already seen City and Liverpool win this weekend before you played?
Yeah, obviously we were watching the games, and that means that we cannot leave any games. We have to win every game if possible. We have to stay in their rhythm, and obviously our belief is to be even in front of them,
Indeed. Well done today. Match winner, Riccardo. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye.
That's the man who settled it in the end. And as we were saying earlier on, Righty, they're so good defensively. Another clean sheet to start the season today. That if they can nick games like that puts themselves in a real situation.
But obviously, like I said, I think our front players today didn't really fire as well as even when we did break Manchester United's press and we got through. I thought the final ball, maybe it was from Martin or from Saka or whoever it was, it just wasn't quite gelling today. But like again, it's a good sign when you can win like that. But at the same time, you do want to see more shots. Obviously, watching Liverpool, watching City, they looked really potent with what they were doing. They looked really vibrant with what they were doing. And maybe we might take a few games to get into that. But it's going to be a tough start for us. But we still have to take that and think, it's not gone well up to in respect of our first game to blast the team. But like those guys, City are playing Wolves who normally start pretty poorly, and Liverpool playing Bournemouth. Respect to the teams, but it's games you'd expect them to win. This is a tough first game for Arsenal. Yes, you'd like to have seen us maybe play a little bit better and see some more signs of what's to come, but we won the game, and I think that's what's most important.
Yeah, you'd be delighted just getting on the bus now with that level of performance.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got really influential players for Arsenal. Rice, Saka, those two, for instance. Nowhere near their best today. We hardly saw them actually affect the game in a positive way. But they're getting on that bus, going on a plane, getting home, and they've got 3 points tucked away. It's a great feeling because you can't play perfect football, particularly in the Premier League. Yeah. You can't play perfect football and be offensive and everything go your way. So when that happens, it's a great weekend. You win 3-0, it's fabulous. But no, that's a really, really good win for Arsenal with the way that they performed. Their goalkeeper come up trumps with what he had to do. He'd done it well. Yeah. The vital punch, a couple of saves. And they defended really stoutly. United had 2 sort of half chances, really, during the game.
Talking of United, let's get some reaction. Here is their manager, Ruben Amorim.
Well, Ruben, if you just saw the result, you might say, same as last season. But if you see the performance, did that feel like progress? Did it feel like a stride forward?
Yeah, I'm really proud of the guys. I think they were really brave in everything they did during the game. So the performance, congratulations for the performance, not congratulations because we lost the game at home. I think we deserve clearly a different result, and we need to move forward to the next one.
So what did you like about the performance? What did you do well that gave you control in large parts of the match?
We were more aggressive than last year. We sprint more. We were more brave. We let 1 against 1 all the game. We press high, and then with the ball we had quality. Even when the stadium makes some sounds, we continue to play the way we play. We lost fewer balls in the build-up compared to last year. We struggle a lot, and then the small things that we talk about in the beginning of this season, that players like Cunha, like Brian, in one moment can elevate the stadium. So I think the most important thing, we were not boring.
No, you weren't boring. So Mbeumo and Cunha, even though they weren't able to get on the score sheet today, did you feel like compared to last season, they gave you a threat even in moments where maybe Arsenal were on top in the game.
Yeah, you always feel in the game that they can do something and they can push the team. Not just with the ball, but without the ball. They press really well. They are working really hard. Again, I'm proud for the game that they played, everybody, but we lost and we need to work on different things.
Yeah. Did the reaction of the fans at full time actually tell you something? Did that tell you that I think they quite liked what they saw?
Even during the game, but again, we need to win games, but was a completely different game from last season.
Okay. What did you make of the goal you conceded?
It's more or less the same that happened sometimes. It happened last year. For me, it's not playing the ball. It's protecting the guys that they are attacking. I understand that we want goals, but when you touch in the goalkeeper in that way, I think it's hard. And especially to lose with a goal like this, I think it's hard.
What would you say to your goalkeeper then? What, bad luck, that was a foul, or does he have to be stronger in that instance?
It's hard to be strong when you have to push and to go for the ball. Sometimes you are pushing and then you don't have more hands to go for the ball. We need to be stronger in that moment, but especially we need to do the same thing in the opposite side. So we are not changing the rules. We have to adapt to the rules. And today it's hard to accept because I think we were the better team.
Okay. Lastly then, how do you see that goalkeeper situation moving forward? Bayern was obviously in goal today. You've got Tom Heaton and Arne not in the squad at all. Is that a fight between the three of them in the last few weeks of the transfer window? Would you like to add a goalkeeper?
No, it's we have players to win any game of Premier League. We need to focus. Forget about the noise. We are fighting for the places. That is a good thing. But we are playing as a team. Doesn't matter who is playing. We want to win games. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Ruben.
Thank you.
Well, he did very well, actually. You were good at that at times, not answering the question. No, I'm talking about when you were playing directly, because he avoided the question totally, didn't he? Because do you think deep down he knows he needs a new goalkeeper and he might not be able to get one?
Yeah, maybe. And listen, I wouldn't expect anything else there. You know, I think he's got to come out and fight for the group and protect. And there's a bigger picture to look after as well. And you know, all the things, everything that he's put into the game. So good, like you said, encouraging things with, without the ball, and then he ends up coming and I'm talking about that, which that's out of his control. You know, it's a very tough one for him to have to take, really. And as I used the word deflated before, because I'm sure he'll feel a little bit like that and thinking they should have got more from the game, and then he's got to end up coming and taking that. But I wouldn't expect, even if he didn't think it was a foul, I wouldn't expect him to come out in any other way, really. He's got to look after his players, and I respect him for that.
They didn't score in 15 of 38 league games last season, but they had 22 attempts today, 7 on target. Yeah. So there is a sea change there. It'll change eventually, you think, with the players that he's got on the pitch?
I think there's an excitement about the players he's brought in, the way they performed today in Burmo and Cunha particularly. I thought De Ligt was excellent today. I thought it was his best game probably in the United shirt, with the ball and defending. So there was a lot of pluses there, there really were. But they played at their probably close to their peak, actually, in a way, United, yet they still lost at home. They've got a problem at Old Trafford at the moment. What did they lose last year? 8 or 9 games at home. No. And they've started off a season, be it they deserved, I think, at least a point. They haven't. They've lost again. Now, that's psychologically, that's difficult, you know. It really is. You want to be going and making Old Trafford a fortress like it used to be. Well, that's not the best stepping stone to do, go and lose your first game. But there was a lot of good signs there for United. I've got to say, they had a better structure about them. I was wondering whether they were going to concede and go into a fight, but they were brave. They put their wing-backs up high. They pressed Arsenal. And on another day, that might have turned, that might have been a 2-1 victory or even a 2-0 victory if they don't give a sloppy goal away.
Even a 1-0.
Yeah, 1-0.
Should have done enough really to give themselves a 1-0 victory, really, in the grand scheme of things.
I think he's done well. I think he's definitely come out there and done well for his keeper. Like you said, Michael, you expect him to protect the keeper and not finish him, especially when he needs him now. And Arna's not even in the squad, but they've got to address that. Because, again, I think that other than the goalkeeper's mistake, that probably would be one of those results where they'd go back and say, yeah, that was a good start for us against a team that's probably going to challenge. Well, I hope they're going to challenge. And that would have been a great start. But now, obviously, they've lost the game with a goalkeeping mistake. What they've been dealing with the whole of last season, since Onana's been there, I should say. So they've got to in the last couple of... They've got to address that because that's going to be a massive problem. Because like you mentioned as well earlier on, Gaffer, if Onana does come back or if Tom Heaton comes back, the glare and the pressure on him in any moment, he's going to be under pressure. So they need to take that away by bringing in a top goalkeeper for Manchester United.
OK, that's the losing manager. Here is the winning one, the Arsenal boss, Mikel Arteta.
Well, Mikel, we can come to how you did it shortly. But firstly, what did you think about the character your team showed? How important was it that you got the result today?
Well, massive. To come in the first fixture to Old Trafford with that atmosphere, the way they are building momentum with the new signings and the excitement around it is top. I mean, it's a great feeling. Then we have to be really humble about the way we did it. And we did it, one, because we put a magnificent set piece in, and after, because the way we reacted to mistake. To enforce mistakes and mistakes that are very far from the standards that we normally have, and we constantly reacted to that in a really positive way. And that's the reason why we had the opportunity to win the game.
Yeah, he's won 8 of his 12 games against United now as the Arsenal manager. That's interesting, talking about the resilience and the character today.
Well, I think that what we've shown under Mikel Arteta, that we have got a lot of resilience. We are very good defensively. Obviously, the set pieces as well, we're able to take advantage of those like we did today. But in the main with the team, our defensive record has been brilliant for the last couple of seasons. It's the goals. It's the goals what we need to get now. That's why we was hoping that maybe Victor Gyökeres would have had the kind of game where we could have seen stuff today. Didn't really see it today. I thought De Ligt was really tight and done pretty well about him today. But that's where you want to see the difference, because defensively we are very good against anybody, especially the top 6. It's the mid teams that we need to play. But again, with this game, main thing was to not lose it. And I'd like to have seen more shots on goal, if I'm going to be totally honest. But again, it's the first game of the season. You know what I mean? We've got to build into it. You know, we've got some tough games coming. So, you know, the main thing is that we haven't lost on the first day.
Mm. And obviously, Mikel Arteta, as we know, was ruthless in that goalkeeping area to bring in David Raya and improve them further.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lesson there for United in many ways. But no, Raya, I've always thought he was great at Brentford. It was a great buy. It really was. But for such an open game, there wasn't many chances in both ends. And to have the, you know, both teams played open, attacked each other. It's like a basketball game in many ways. It's really strange how there wasn't much more created from both teams. But it was still a very exciting game, Premier League game. But room for improvement, certainly from Arsenal, but I think United, there's something there for United to hang their hat on in that performance, I've got to say.
Is it important to remember that? Only one game and
100%. Today was almost a one-off. I think it was, in some ways, a bit of a free hit for United with the new signings, the freshness. I think it's a one-off for Arsenal as well in terms of get the win and move on. Don't overanalyse it. I think they'll play better. Good players. They've got quality. I wouldn't overanalyse why the performance happened. I think they'll be fine. They won the game. United have got a lot to take from the game. So yeah, the result is a result, but I don't think it'll affect what happens next for both teams, really.
OK. Gentlemen, thank you for your company, Wrighty, Michael and Glenn. Well, we were waiting for that one. And as I say, Arsenal just edging it with that big moment after 13 minutes. It's got Wrighty smiling on the opening weekend of the season, which personally I'm always delighted about. From the 4 of us, we'll see you soon.